want to say good afternoon to all of you. I've had a chance to see some of you, and if I haven't, please make sure that you come up and introduce yourself afterwards. My name is Josh Crane, and I'm the head of school here at Stony Brook School. I am in my 9th year, and it is my privilege to welcome you to our 100th school year. Now, this is a small crowd in number, but certainly mighty in travel. I want to thank you all for coming across the world to be here with us today. I know some of you are facing long quarantines when you return home, and you've done it to sacrifice for your children, and that is deeply admirable, and we're very grateful for it, and we certainly don't take it for granted. So thank you for your presence here today. I'm going to say just a few words to you, and then I've got a wonderful cast of folks here who will follow me and give you just a little bit of an orientation about what this year is going to look like, what you can expect from us, and also a chance for you to see the face, put it with a name. As this year unfolds, you have many contacts now that you know. So, let's get started. In Matthew 7, and we read the Bible here at the Stony Brook School. We look to it often for inspiration, for guidance. And in Matthew 7, Jesus tells a story about two different houses that were built in order to make a point about the strength of his teaching. One house was built on rock, and the other house was built on sand. Inevitably, a storm comes, a strong one, in this case, with heavy rains and winds that blow hard and beat upon those houses. The one on the rock stood firm. The one built on sand fell with a great crash. Well, it's hurricane season here in the United States, and this parable, this teaching, seems very appropriate given where we are. There's a major hurricane way south of here. No worries. It's in Louisiana, but it's happening now. And so this story takes on a little bit more of a focus point. But I tell you this to say the hurricanes haven't been the only winds that have been blowing over the last 18 months, at least in our country anyway. Winds of division and enmity and strife. And as I bring your child here for the first time, maybe some of you here, I recognize you've brought them here for many years now. But whether it's your first time or the 6th time, I want you to know that the Stony Brook School was built on a rock. For 100 years, we have believed that the purpose of our education is to challenge young men and women to know Jesus Christ as Lord, to love others as themselves, to grow in knowledge and skill so that they might serve the world through their character and their leadership. This has not changed. We believe each child who walks through our doors is a sacred being and therefore worthy of the utmost respect and love. No exceptions. We will know them, we will love them, and we will assist you in shaping their character. And if our program takes root, and we pray that it does, that character will be marked by humility, by service, love, kindness, gentleness, patience, and perseverance. And we certainly need perseverance in these days. We are looking forward to partnering with you in this vital work. This is a school that values relationships. If something isn't going well with your child and needs to be addressed, let's talk about it. Start with your child's advisor. Every child has an advisor in this school. It should be your first point of contact, and then work from there. You should find our team friendly, approachable, and eager to help. You can stay in touch with your child's academic progress over our portal, which we have given you access to. I would encourage you to not spend so much time on that portal. Just let your child kind of figure his or her way out here. If you're checking it every day, that's probably a sign that somebody's not happy. And I just want to encourage you to check it periodically. Check in on your child's progress periodically. And you all are international parents, so it's a little bit more challenging, but we do invite as much parent participation that you can afford in your schedule. And so connecting in with us via Zoom, we have what's called Stony Brook School Parents, SBS Parents. The president of that organization will be speaking to you in just a little bit and just talking about ways in which you, even from across the world, can connect with us. We want to stay as close to you as we possibly can. Well, let's talk just for the last few minutes about what this year practically is going to look like. I know there may be many different views, even in this room, about how we should handle COVID this year. We asked for a survey to be filled out of many of our parents, and we got responses. About 50% of our parents wanted us to take our masks off right away, and about 50% said, no, don't take the masks off. So we're definitely living in this time where not everybody's in agreement on these things. Well, New York State did us a favor by telling us exactly what we need to do, so we need to obey them, of course, and they are telling us that we need to start the school year with masks on. And so what that means is that we will have masks on indoors in our classrooms and in our gathering places. Outdoors, we want to take the masks off because we want to see people and see their faces. We want to take into account all dimensions of health. Physical health, of course, but also social, emotional, and mental health as well. We are committed to in-person learning as the best chance to put teenagers in a position to experience total health even in the midst of a pandemic. Just want you to know we don't operate here out of fear. We look at data, we listen, we pay attention, but we're not fearful. Because when you're fearful, you tend to make bad decisions. So, we'll be also maintaining 3 feet of distance as much as we can, ensure our spaces are well ventilated, and avoid school-wide gatherings indoors. But we do need to build our community, and we will be looking to take advantage of, certainly when the weather is nice here for the first couple of months, many outdoor opportunities for students to gather, have fun, enjoy themselves, and enjoy this place. Sports will continue pretty much as normal. And what I want you to know is we've gotten pretty good at managing COVID. I'm certainly not saying that as bragging because that's not the way we operate here. But we have developed a level of confidence as we've now been navigating this. We were in person. We had in-person learning all last year. So we've developed a comfort level and a program and an approach that was successful for us last year. And we believe will be successful again. So I want you to have confidence in our team. We do have a great team, most of whom have their own children here. So when we talk about how we maintain and take care of this place, we think not only of your children, but we also think of our own. We put on a parent lens as well as an administrator lens. So in closing, in preparation for this, our 100th year, I've been studying our school's history, and I've come to take comfort in the many dangers and challenges this school has faced over its 100 years. Stony Brook attracts a hardy sort, a strong sort, but it's actually more than that. It's the hope, as I've studied, I've seen, it's the hope that our predecessors had, the hope that strengthened them, that buoys them up during the Depression, during world wars, during civil unrest, and other challenges throughout our history. Their hope is the hope that we are not alone in this universe and that God will make a way, even when there seems to be no way. They stood on the rock, and by their example, they invite us to do the same. We don't get to choose the times in which we're born, but we do have a choice as to what we will make of them. So let's stand together as a community this year, standing on the rock, and experience all the good that this year has for your children, for us together as a community. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for listening. I want to introduce to you now the first of our guest speakers here this afternoon. Eric Johnson is the co-director of our college counseling department. I know many folks who come here, that's where their eyes are, and so we want to cast vision for you and give you some insight into how our college counseling operation works. Of course, again, you can see Eric. His partner is Christine Liu. She is away for the day, but she would be another person to speak to. And then, of course, we have many guests afterwards. So, Eric, why don't you come on up for us?
All right. Good afternoon. It is very good to be here with you. So I'm Eric Johnson, and I am one of the co-directors of college counseling here at the Stony Brook School. But when I am not wearing my college counseling hat, I am also an English teacher, and because of that, I want to talk to you about stories. So, what are stories? Well, stories have a plot, right? They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I think for a lot of you, you're at a beginning, or you might be thinking about where you're at right now is the beginning. You're on the beginning of a story that will end with high school graduation, and then another story, which will be college. So, beginnings and endings are important. We're at a beginning, we're thinking about an ending, but I want to talk to you about the middle. In novels, as important as beginnings and endings are, much of the meaning of the story is found in the middle. This is where we find the journey and the conflict and the discovery and the struggle. It is the middle of the story where all the action is. So, for example, at the end of each school year, we calculate a GPA. This is an obvious endpoint, but we can miss the significance of this number if we do not know the middle of the story. We can be impressed by the 4.33 GPA, and we can dismiss as average the 3.33 GPA. But what are the stories behind those numbers? The numbers do not tell the story of how the school year was full of discoveries, challenges, disappointments, adjustments, and triumphs. The number is a simple ending of a story. The journey to that ending is what is important. The middle part of the story is where we find something that we think a lot about at Stony Brook, character. It is where we see students take risks, accept responsibility, and learn to contribute to a greater good. When we think about the usual hopes for the end of the high school story, we often hope for the glorious ending of an elite college acceptance. And at Stony Brook, we see our share of impressive acceptances. In fact, if you've come to SBS because you thought it would help your child get into a top 25, a top 30, a top 50 school, well, you've come to the right place. I could throw all kinds of statistics at you about the success we have in getting our students into top-ranked colleges. I'm very proud of it. I could tell you that we are a very strong college counseling program, that we provide lots of support during the application process, that we have strong relationships with many, many colleges, and that we care about the students that we work with. As gratifying as these results are, I want us to recognize that there is something more important than these happy endings. I think we could admit that rankings encourage us to be more impressed by some colleges than others. We are more impressed by Princeton than Purdue, by Harvard than Hofstra, by Stanford than Seton Hall. But if the college process is the appropriate ending of a great story, what determines the value of that ending isn't the ranking. It is how that ending fits with each student's journey through their educational story. I want you to imagine a student. Her story is that she started high school as an incredibly bright and talented student, and then she breezed through high school, making all the right calculated decisions, but never hit any road bumps. Never took any significant risks, never built authentic relationships with other students. She got into the college of her choice and left high school not knowing herself any better than she did when she started. That she left high school pretty much the same person she was at the beginning. Students and parents, as hard as this can be sometimes, don't we want a different story than that? And can we see that if we've had a great story, a middle full of worthwhile challenges and pursuits, full of change and discovery, full of love and joy, that this middle will dignify the end that we achieve. You see, a student can end up at an Ivy League school and still have missed out on the story she should have had. And alternatively, a student can enroll at a school like SUNY Geneseo, one of my favorite SUNY campuses, and have lived out a story with integrity, joy, and growth. So I want us to be a school where we can celebrate many different kinds of endings of the stories of our students, especially when we see in these stories the motto of our school, character before career. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to visit some college campuses at the start of school. At one stop, I met with a recent Stony Brook School alum who was starting school at a campus different from what he had dreamed about. His dreams, at least for a while, were taking him somewhere else, but he ended up at this particular campus. Now, I shouldn't maybe name this particular school, but let's say it rhymes with Snapple Thrill. So obviously this is a really good school. It just wasn't what he was imagining. He had imagined for himself something else. So I was pleased to walk around the campus with him and to see and hear from him actually how much he was loving that school. He had impressive professors. He was excited about some research opportunities that he had on the horizon. He had found some campus groups he was already plugged into, including a supportive group of friends who had introduced him to a great local church. I've been reflecting on how this school actually, even though it wasn't the school the student dreamed about throughout a lot of his high school career, this school ended up being a great fit for this student. And I've been thinking about how this student has been prepared to make the most of that opportunity because of how he developed his story on the way there. His journey toward college has been one of authentic growth and change. Now, I don't say these things to lower your expectations. Yes, the college application has been getting extremely competitive, and yes, it is arguably harder than it used to be 10 or 20 years ago to get into an elite college. But to reiterate what I said a few minutes ago, we still have outcomes at Stony Brook that we are very proud of. We still see plenty of success. But we are even more proud of the successes that are told by the stories of our students. So parents and students, let me close by making a few commitments to you. Our college counseling department will help your students build a list of schools that are a good fit. We will help you brainstorm. We will help you write your personal statements. We will provide plenty of information along the way so that you and your child feel prepared to move through the process with confidence. I moved through this process myself as a parent of two. So two college students for me so far, and one on the way. So it's given me insight into what you and your children need to know. But most importantly, we will see, know, and love your children. We will partner with your children's teachers, coaches, and dorm parents to help shape their stories, challenge them to be students of character. Because it is out of this vision, knowledge, and love that we've built the Stony Brook School College Counseling Program. Feel free to reach out to us if you have questions. We provide a lot of guidance, especially ramping up in the 11th grade year and very intensely in the senior year, but we try to provide good information for you in 9th and 10th grade as well. I look forward to getting to know your children, and I want to again welcome all of you and wish you and your children a wonderful school year. Thank you. I'd like to bring up Chad Hardison, who is our Director of Counseling Services.
Good afternoon. Let me be one of the many to welcome you to our school from all parts of the world. My name is Chad Hardison. I am the Director of Counseling Services here at the Stony Brook School. For a lot of you here, I come from a very different part of life. I grew up in the Midwestern part of the United States. You drive 30 minutes in any direction from where I lived, and you would be surrounded by cornfields and farmlands. I did not grow up in a culturally diverse area The school I went to wasn't culturally diverse with students from all over the world attending. Growing up, how and where I did, I'm sure, is quite different than a lot of you here. And growing up where and how I did shaped my experiences and my thoughts and my feelings. But with all of that being said, regardless of where we grow up, I think it's safe to say that we all experience different things in our thoughts, different things in our feelings. And some of these thoughts and some of these feelings that we have are very positive and they're very beneficial. And they produce good things in our lives. These positive thoughts and these positive feelings help us produce and be productive in our schools. They help us to be productive in our families, in our workplaces, in our local community, in our communities abroad. And it's in these positive places with our thoughts and our feelings that we are free and we are enabled to make a better impact on our world. Other thoughts and feelings that we have are not so positive or not so good. And it's in these moments where our thoughts and our feelings are not so positive and not so good that it's difficult to be productive in school. It's difficult to be productive in our family life or our work environment or in our community or in the community at large. And so we create strategies to try to help us deal with these unproductive thoughts and feelings and emotions, and we try to create things to help us get through, to survive, to make things better, and sometimes these strategies work really well. And then there are other times where the strategies that we try to help with these thoughts and feelings that aren't so good don't work so well. And that's my job here at the school. Myself and my new school counselor, Lynn Kim, make up the counseling department at our school. Our role here at the school is to work with you and your child to help develop these strategies to deal with those thoughts and those feelings that sometimes may not be so beneficial. And we do this so that our students are better equipped to face the challenges that await them, not only at our school, but in their future lives and careers. We do this so that we can create a positive experience here at the Stony Brook School, and they can take this positive experience with them elsewhere. If there is assistance that is ever needed in helping your child deal with some of their thoughts or some of their feelings that are very difficult and are inhibiting and getting in the way of them being productive, we are here to talk, we are here to listen, and we are here to help you and your child get through their time here at the Stony Brook School. With that being said, please welcome our other school counselor, Miss Lynn Kim.
Hello, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Lynn, and I'll be a female counselor at Stony Brook School, and also I'll be adult mom at Cleveland. I'll be working with Mr. Hardison in counseling department, and I would like to share a little bit of my history. I came to the United States as an international student. I'm Korean, born and raised in Korea, and I raised in Christian family. My dad is a kidney surgeon and my mom was a teacher, but they were not just a teacher or a physician, but they helped the students both academically and emotionally with the constant support. I went to Women's Christian High School, and recently I got my master at NYU in New York City. I feel these experiences will help me to guide students at Stony Brook School. Being an international student is not easy. I believe that because of my parents' constant support, I could overcome many past difficulties in my life, and now I want to be that person for someone else. I was an international student when I came to this country. I know what it is like to walk in non-American born shoes. As a non-Native American, with my experiences, I think I can be a good source to help students who come from different countries or who are going through multicultural issues. Schools are very important because these children spend so much time in school. As a counselor, I will make sure I'll give students academic, social, and emotional support. I would like to focus on advocating and supporting for students and be prepared for the real world. Lastly, please do not hesitate to contact with me. I would love to communicate with the students and parents and their families. Thank you, and I would like to introduce Director of Student Life, Mr. Moniz. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to also extend a welcome to all of you. I am going to give you some practical things. Generally speaking, you would all be meeting with your dorm heads in the dorms today, but because of the precautions we're taking with COVID, it's not a great idea to have everybody in the same room. So I'd like to go over some practical things, but also give you kind of the overall mission and some of the things that are dear to the mission of student life and residential life at the school. The first thing I wanted to say, as I look out at parents who have traveled across the world to have their child go to school here, is that we take very, very seriously that commitment to our school. And we know that your children are your most vital and prized possession. And that is a heavy responsibility for us, and we just want you to know that you have chosen a great place, a great home for your child. And you've heard a little bit about the college counseling and the mission behind the school, and the wellness counseling as well. And we really do. We have the resources here to do our job well. And over this period of time, you are going to be wowed by how your child changes. They will do their laundry when they come home because they're going to learn how to do that here. They become more independent, able to navigate different cultures because of the diversity that we have here. They're going to be able to create new study habits. One of the major impacts that I see on our students is they get into a rhythm of having a 2-hour study hall every single night. And they don't always like that, which is, not surprising, I guess. But, they get into that habit. They get their work done early. Those routines, the way we have structured our program here, it really does have a lasting and changing effect on them. And when they go to college, once we get them into college, when they go to college, they will be successful, and you'll find that they breeze through, especially their freshman year, because they've already been experienced to that type of life here. While their friends in the university are having trouble getting used to managing their time, Stony Brook students already have that figured out, and it's really an amazing opportunity. I also wanted to talk a little bit. Here's one of the practical things. You're probably wondering how you're going to communicate with us. And our students often they like to experience the area outside of Stony Brook. And we want to be able to let them do that. So if they want to go to the city, or they want to go to the movies, or they want to go to the mall, or they want to go to a friend's house and stay the night. And so all of you today have been sent an invitation to a program called Aura. And what Aura is a student management system. And what it does is it allows your student, your child, to request leave. And what will happen is when they request leave, that request will be sent to your email once you sign up for Aura. It'll be sent to your email. And on that email, it'll say exactly what your child would like to do. Mom, Dad, I'd like to go to the mall, or I'd like to go to New York City this weekend. It'll allow you to either say yes or no. Once you say yes or no, that information will be sent right back to us, and then we'll look at it. We have someone here who will be looking at leaves, those requests, and then we say yes or no based on our program here. And if you guys say yes and we say yes, then your child will then be given a notification that they are indeed allowed to go to the place they were hoping to go to. They will then sign out with us and be allowed to go, and we keep track of if they're off campus and when they're supposed to be returning. If they don't return on time, we have a process for that, and we're calling them and making sure that everybody's accounted for. So I just wanted to say that because it is very important that everybody in this room signs up for that program. Your students will also be signing up for that as well. And that has been sent to your inbox today. Another thing that has been sent to you very recently is our parent guidebook. So, one of the things that I think is important for you all to hear is that your child is about to go through a transformative process. And that's not necessarily an easy process. In the next couple days, they're going to have to get used to a new roommate, new food, a new geographic place, new faculty members. They will miss you. They may pretend like they don't, but they're going to miss you deeply. Homesickness is something that happens in the first couple weeks. A lot of times it's after the first week because we're going to have so much fun in this first week that it's the second week when they're realizing they have tests and things like that, where things begin to get a little bit harder. But that's normal. And what you'll find is as time goes on, the homesickness they were once talking about kind of goes away. And the reason for that is they're creating those lasting, lifelong relationships with friends who really do become family. So I wanted you to hear that. It will be okay. And here's the thing. If you have questions and you are concerned, I think Mr. Crane already mentioned this, reach out to that advisor right away. And the other thing I was going to say is we also will be communicating with you. Our dorm heads will be sending out a message to you shortly to reintroduce themselves if they haven't already met you already, introducing the rest of their dorm team, and establishing communication back and forth between the residential program and the dorm as well. You can always call me. In that parent guidebook, all the contact information you need to contact me or to contact a dorm head is also in there as well. All right. I have one more thing that I wanted to say. Stony Brook is quite a rigorous academic program. You guys already know that. That's why you're here. Like Eric was saying, we have great results because of that rigorous academic program. It's also a program where we highly value character. And we are going to hold our students accountable to their character all the time, showing up on time, performing service on campus, treating each other well. And all these things combined, their athletic program, all these things combined, they take a toll. Their work. And one of the things that's really important is that we also have a lot of fun together. All right? And we also make time to rest. And one of the things I would love for parents to do is really encourage your child to dive into the whole Stony Brook program. Because if they're only doing the academic and the athletic and the character building, which we're going to make sure happens, they're really missing out on all the fun that we also include. We will be sending out a weekend at the Brook, which is like our activities program and all the fun things that are happening on campus. Really encourage them to get involved in that, because that is where those relationships, those lifelong friends I've been talking about, that's where those relationships are made. So because of that, I want to introduce to you my assistant director of student life, Chad Perney, and he'll talk a little bit about that program. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. As Dustin said, my name is Chad Perney. I'm the assistant director of student life. Really what that means is I'm in charge of coordinating a fun and robust activities program for your child here at the Stony Brook School. I'm really, really excited for this year. I think all of our kids are really excited to get back to just the opportunities to socialize and have fun. And one of the things I like about Josh's intro, he said, this is more about expectations for you. Well, what can you expect as a parent? You can expect from me opportunities for your child to make their experience the best possible here at the Stony Brook School. When we think about our own high school experience, when we get together with our friends and over the years, it's not necessarily the moment, even though the classwork we do here is paramount. But you're not going to get together with your classmates and say, hey, remember when we learned the Pythagorean theorem? You're going to say, hey, remember when I got a chance to dunk Mr. Perney in the dunk tank? Remember when, we got a chance to go serve at a local homeless shelter or soup kitchen? You're going to say, hey, remember when, as middle schoolers, we beat the 10th graders in tug of war during class challenges? Those are the opportunities that are on offer in our activities program, and many, many more opportunities. One of the ways that we're really trying to centralize and advertise our overarching program this year is through something called the Stony Brook Passport. They're going to be hearing a lot more about this in the coming days. But essentially, it's just one big advertisement after the next of these are the things that we offer that make Stony Brook fun. And we're going to encourage them to do it. Like Dustin was saying, it's not just about the academics. It's not just about the character building and the rigor of the schedule, which are great for teenagers. It's also about the opportunities on offer that they're going to talk about at their 10th reunion and their 20th reunion and so on and so forth. And the things that they're going to talk to you about too. So if you could help me out, when you receive the communications from me from Weekend at the Brook, ask them, hey, what's your weekend look like? What are you doing? You really ask them and push them to take advantage of the opportunities, and I'll be doing the same thing. I'm really excited. I love this part of our school and culture, and I can't wait to meet y'all and work with your students. So with that, I want to introduce Linda Reuter. She's our president of the Stony Brook School Parent Executive Board. Thanks, y'all.
Hi, excuse me. Hi, and welcome everybody. My name is Linda Reuter. I am serving as the president of the SPS Parent Board. I am in my 6th year as a parent here at the school, and I can personally attest to all the things that have been said as just a volunteer regular parent, that all of these things that have been said today are completely accurate. I've had the opportunity through my son while he's been at this school to participate in all these things, the academics, the college preparation, the fun activities, the counseling, all of it has been a real blessing to us, and I think you will find it to be the same. So we are the parent organization for the school, SBS Parents. We are a board of 5 parents, volunteer parents, volunteering our time. And what we do is, throughout the year, is plan and host different events and meetings to connect the parents with what's going on at the school, and also connect parents with each other. I know for those of you in this room, most of you are international parents, and it may be difficult to engage in some of the local activities that we plan, but we do have a wide selection of activities that are available online and through Zoom meetings and things, and opportunities to support some of the on-campus activities that we do organize. So you can always keep an eye out for emails from SBS Parents. If you see an email from SBS Parents, it's really an email from me, and it's giving you information about opportunities to get involved, even remotely. So we will have meetings throughout the year, both in person, and they'll always be live streamed at the time they're happening, as well as recorded for those who want to catch it later on. These are the meetings where you can hear about what's going on at the school, the future plans. I'm sure as the COVID protocols evolve, we'll be updated on those as well, and also opportunities to get involved, like I've already mentioned. We do have some social events for local parents, which if you ever find yourselves in town during that time, we'd love for you to get involved. You'll hear about those through our emails as well. But there's also opportunities to help with events that we organize for the faculty and staff throughout the year. Even just sending in your support or just words of encouragement to the faculty. We also have a prayer group that will be meeting every Friday morning. The parent prayer group will be happening completely on Zoom this year, so you'll be able to get completely involved in that as well, starting September 3rd on Friday mornings. You already received an email last week from me with some of these details, and the information about the parent prayer group is there. The 2 parents who are coordinating that prayer group have provided their email information, and you can contact them directly if you're interested. So there are 5 parents who serve on the executive board with me, and you'll probably see their names and faces throughout the year as well. We also have class parents for each grade. So for each of the 7th through 12th grade, there's typically 2, sometimes 3 parents who are really geared toward the needs of that particular grade. whether it's something at Class Challenge Night where they're going to be organizing something just for the kids in their grade. So you'll be hearing through email from other parents that are also just your particular child's class parent. And if you would like to help support them, they also always have needs for other parents in the grade who aren't necessarily class parents to get involved and participate. So there's all different levels of ways to get involved. So keep an eye out on your email for information from me throughout the year. And with that, I'd like to introduce Nancy Cipitelli from our development office. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Most of you have met me downstairs in Hollis at check-in, so hello again. I just wanted to introduce myself to let you know that I work in the advancement office here, and what the advancement office does at the school is help fundraise for the school. And we put on a lot of events for fundraising that you will be given information on your emails, so you can pay attention to that. The first one we have is a giving challenge coming up September 13th through the 17th. It is 1 week. We try to do a big push to raise as much money as we can during that week. And that money goes towards our annual fund. And the annual fund at the school really supports the gap between what the tuition pays for and everything else we can accomplish here at the school. So it is really important, and that's one of our priorities here. You'll be seeing a lot of information about that. If you are staying around local and you will be here on September 17th, we do have a gathering event down by the harbor in Port Jefferson at Danford's, and you're more than welcome to register for that online. You'll be seeing some more emails about that, and you can join us down there as well. Out of my office also comes the alumni engagement. So we always are involved with our alumni and welcome them back to campus. Homecoming's a big thing. I'm sure your kids will let you know about that in October and how awesome that is. Also, we have the communications department in our office, and Miss Alana Brooks runs that. So if your child has done something amazing or wonderful over the summer or continues to do something during the school year that's unrelated to being what they do on campus, we'd love to hear about it and try to spotlight them, because our kids do amazing things all the time. And then we have this year, because it is our centennial, we've been talking a lot about the 100 years, and this year we are having our Centennial Gala on April 29th here on Long Island. It'll be at the Garden City Hotel, so if you happen to be back around for any reason at that time, we invite you to come as well. And we just are very excited to have you all here, and are feeling very blessed that you are sharing your children with us for this year. So thank you so much, and I would like to invite Tonya Detweiler, the Dean of Students, up to speak with you now.
All right, I am the last speaker, so you have made it. My name is Mrs. Detweiler, and I am in my 28th year working here, but I also was a student here, for those of you who are students, and I actually was born here. My father started teaching here before I was born, so my blood runs blue, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have as a parent, as a dean of students, and for those of you who are students, you know what it's like to be a student here, so feel free to throw any question by me. I think you've heard, and you probably know by now, that probably the best word to kind of encapsulate what we do here at Stony Brook is care. That is a huge, huge deal to us, that your child and you as parents feel cared for. As human beings, we want to be known and we want to be loved, right? And I think we have experienced that on a whole new level in the world as we've walked through this pandemic and felt loneliness and felt isolated from others, that even more so we want to be connected and we want to be known and we want to be loved. So you've heard many ways we already do that, and I'll just share 3 that are under my umbrella, how we approach care in those areas. 2 a little bit unusual, and 2 a little more obvious. The first is discipline. That's a strange one, right? How do we care for students in discipline? I love how we do discipline at Stony Brook. We do a restorative discipline approach, And that comes from our Christian faith. As faculty, we believe that we all make mistakes all the time. Even though we're adults, we still make mistakes. And that's why Christ came to save us from those mistakes. And he came and doesn't push us down or define us by our mistakes, but he lifts us up, right? We are forgiven, and we move on, and we grow from those mistakes. And that is how we approach discipline at Stony Brook. So when your child walks through something difficult, which they will, because teenagers make mistakes, just like we do, we are here with them, walking alongside with them. We believe making mistakes can result in wonderful growth, right? We can all think of ways that we have failed in our own lives and how that made us stronger, and that's our goal. So we will walk alongside your child. There are real consequences. If you cross a boundary here, that's a rule at the school, and you break it, there will be consequences, but there will be adults walking alongside your child and you as parents, right? Sometimes it's hard to get that phone call, but there's zero judgment. That's what's beautiful, right? There's zero judgment. Your child is not defined by their mistakes, and our goal is to see our students grow and move forward through that process. So we have had students that walk through very serious discipline, and by senior year, they become one of the top leaders of the school, right? Because it's about growing and learning from our mistakes. So that's how we approach discipline, and that's how we care through the discipline process. Advisory, you've heard about this. Each one of our students has an advisor. They're groups of 10 students, usually within the same grade or 2 grades. And the advisor is with your child for as long as your child wants. So most of my advisees, I've been with them since 7th grade, and they're now juniors. So I really know them, and they really know me, which is exciting. Each year, students can choose to move to a different advisor or stay with their current advisor, and most of our students do stay, because it's an amazing bond that's formed. We meet together twice a week for half an hour each time. We do chapel together, and then we do assembly and hangout time together in our advising group. So it's a half hour of just relaxing, hearing things together, learning things together, talking. COVID permitting, we can even go off campus. We can get a bus and go out for lunch together. We can, you name it, they do it. The boys groups in particular seem to love dodgeball. I don't understand that, but they love dodgeball. So it's a whole host of things that happen during advisory, and it's just real bonding time. And so as Mr. Crane said, your child's advisor is your first go-to person. You can reach out to them and ask any question. If they don't know it, they'll find out the answer for you. Okay? That's another way that we care. Work job, very strange word, but it is what we label as our chores at Stony Brook. We're big believers in everyone together makes the community work, and that means that the students each get a chore, what we call a work job, and they do that one time a week. It could be cleaning one of the whiteboards in the classroom, emptying the trash, bringing the mail from an office to the mail room. It's short. It's not anything that's long, but it's a way that they help the community function. Last year, we did not have work jobs due to COVID, and I actually had students at the end of the year say, Mrs. Detweiler, will work jobs be back next year, because we really miss it? And they missed being an important part of making the community work. So that is something that we do. That's a tradition long-standing at Stony Brook. And the last thing is student leadership. I love how we do student leadership here at Stony Brook. You have seen all the students today that were involved. They were in those blue shirts, and they were helping. We have a neat program where we have head student leaders. They meet with the faculty once a week, their faculty advisor for the leadership program. They come up together with the agenda for their council meeting and what they want to cover. And then when the council gets together, the student leader does all the talking. They lead the entire thing. So the faculty member pours into the head student leader, and then the head student leader pours into the council. And it is real leadership. We could not have pulled off the kind of orientation today that we did without our students, right? And that is what leadership is at Stony Brook. But again, the students are not fending for themselves. There is care, and there is one-on-one time with the head student leaders, and then they pour into their councils. So if any of you are students here, after this year, just be watching the different ways students are involved, and in the spring, you'll get to apply for next year. So those are different ways that we care at Stony Brook, but we are super excited that you are here. Again, my hat is off to you for the travel and for being here and investing so much in your child and their future. And we're just excited to get this year rolling and that you are now a part of our family. So with that, I'll end this time, and you can feel free to leave from here, but we'll be up here if you have any particular questions. Thank you again for coming, and welcome to Stony Brook. Take care.